Okie dokie guys, and welcome back to part 2 of Let's Build a Mechanicus or Dark Mechanicus Knight. So guys, this is the painting section of the video. So, what did I start off by doing? I started off by spraying down a base coat of a very light grey, which is a light grey Vallejo surface primer. And I just went at it from there. I started on the gun arm, the legs and the shoulder pads first, as the torso and the close combat weapon arm actually had some more green stuff drying to do. So I laid down a actual base colour of just gun grey from Vallejo and just went at it from there. Now my goal of this was to give like a really dark look to it. Just going in and filling in some of the gaps now with some Scarlet Red from Vallejo. I wanted this to reciprocate the actual hood, the colour of the hoods on my other Dark Mechanicus stuff. So I decided to go at it with that. Now, with this new Patriot 105 airbrush, I actually find it a lot nicer to use than the Sotar 2020. Maybe because my Sotar 2020 is broken and it sprays in an odd angle. So we hit the shoulder pads on the trim with some just bright brass from Vallejo, and that was really nice. It was very, very vibrant. However, like as I said before, I wanted a really dark feel to the Mechanicus Knight. Almost like an unkept kind of feel. You know, it wasn't quite as nice and shiny as the regular Adeptus Mechanicus actually keep their war machines to a standard of. The trimming on the Imperial Knight I find it quite easy and quite therapeutic to do because it's quite large and it's just easy to get your brush in there and easy to not go over the edges. I did have to do some little touch-ups on these sections though. I do apologise for the angle of this. I realised my arm gets in a awful way a lot of the time, but it was not perhaps the best and the most optimum angle of recording. So once I hit up with the bright brass, I went over with Army Painter Strong Tone in order to darken it up, and then I let it dry for a little bit. However, after doing it, I found that it was actually very, very dark, and I had to go over and just overbrush some of the bright brass with more bright brass in order to bring out some of the little details and stuff. I then started on the shoulder pads again and just went over that with some more bright brass, and then started on the Mechanicus symbol, which was that beautiful press mold that I took from the Manufactorum kit, courtesy of Mr. Pidge. The Manufactorum symbol, I actually wanted it to be a slightly different colour from the bright brass, so I used, I think it was one of the bronze colours from Games Workshop, which is actually a really nice colour to do. Painted one of the sides a skull colour, and then kind of just painted the lens in a bright red colour because I was going to go over the bright lens colour in with a Tamiya clear red just to make it look a bit more lens-like. Then just going through picking out some more details with the brass colour, mainly like the pneumatic pistons and some of the other little details and edging and stuff with it, in order to break up the monotony of the metallic, the silver colour. However, I would later realise that the silver colour again just wasn't bright enough, so later on I would go over and hit that with some more gun grey again to bring out the details and make it just pop a little bit. After doing these like worky bits, as I like to call them, I then hit those up with some more wash later on. Now I'm kind of going backwards and forwards on little bits on this. Right here now I'm adding some wash to the skull, just basically because it breaks up the monotony of the video really. So then I started work on the gun arm. This is the not twin link battle cannon. It is the double action, the double firing battle cannon, which is really, really cool. And yeah, just started doing that, and then back to the legs. Again, just breaking up the video, guys. And it's actually, now that I've recorded it, it's actually quite hard to narrate it, I must admit. So yeah, I was going to say, so far the Mechanicus project that I'm working on is really, really good, and I've just done so much work on it recently. I've actually pretty much achieved a full army in probably under a month. I mainly got to do the troops and stuff now. Just going over those little bits there with some more of the AK Interactive Fresh Engine Oil, which is, by God, you know, with Brian, with Templar's Crusade 100%, it is one of the best effect points out there. Now, with the gun arm, I had to actually go in manually with the red with a brush rather than airbrush it because I was trying to minimise off-spray, and because it was on such a confined area, I knew there'd be loads of it. So I went in there with that. Now, there's quite a lot of jumps in these videos, mainly because of the drying time with the washes and certain paints and things. I did have my fan heater on full blast pretty much. in order to maximise the drying time. But I also found that it was getting a bit tacky, and it was just the brush strokes in it, so I kind of had to go over that a couple of times and work over it. The gun arm was very, very simple to do, and then I moved on to the main part of the body. Now this would prove a little bit tricky because of the way I was holding it. I actually did get some nasty fingerprints in the areas that I was holding it because I was just too impatient. When I'm doing large projects like this, I get a really, really great urge to finish them as soon as possible, but in my haste I do tend to make mistakes, which does annoy me slightly. Again, just following the process with the legs and the shoulder pads, with the dark grey, and then hitting it up with some gun grey over there. I would then go in once these had dried, and there'll be a jump cut in a second where they've dried, I should think. After going over the legs. Oh no, here I'm putting down some of the Games Workshop Crackle Earth effect, just because I thought, well, I've done with the legs, so I'll do that and let them dry just to maximise the time. Now hitting it up with some red, and again, this would be even worse actually with the darkening of it with the wash, because for some reason I sprayed the dark tone over that, and then when I sprayed, because I was like, oh, this doesn't look quite right with the rest of my army, so I sprayed some Agrax over there, and the Agrax really didn't agree with the Vallejo wash, with the Army Painter wash, so I was a bit gutted because it had really, really bad spots, so that led me to more dry brushing over the top of that. Going over now with some bright bronze on the trim, again on the Imperial Knight main hull, again to reciprocate what was on the shoulder pads. In my original idea, I had just the idea to do this like silver, just a silver top with the trim, but I thought it just wouldn't look right. I kind of had it in my mind, and then it was one of those ideas that again I left. Going over with some of the brass effect on some of the little details, and then I would then proceed and go onto and touch up some of the silver where the red had off-sprayed onto it, and just to tidy it up a little bit. Now this bit was fucking annoying as hell because I had to go in and do the individual little little segments on the close combat weapon with the bright bronze, and it just took forever. However, guys, my anguish is summed up in merely a couple of seconds for you guys. Yeah, it's a labour of love, guys, labour of love. I do it all for you, and myself really, because I like mechanic and stuff now. So after that, I hit that up with some more of the Agrax, and this is when I was on about before. It added really horrible specks and spots in it, and I really wasn't happy, and I was, in truth, really pissed off at myself because, again, in my haste to try and do it, it just didn't work. Here, as what I said before, just overbrushing the metal with some more gun grey, just to make it pop a little bit and make it look a little bit less dull and a little bit less muted and a little bit less monotone. The fucking front of the cannon broke off there, which again I was pissed off about. So yeah, this thing just kept falling apart in my hand as I was doing it, again just because I was too hasty in doing some of the stuff. Just wanted to get it done, especially a big project like this, because I find with big projects I tend to leave them quite a bit and then they get forgotten about, as my Nurgle Demon Lord did. And I will finish that at some point, sometime soon I'll finish that. So what else are we doing now? I'm just going to have a little drink. Just to wet me whistle, because I've been rabbiting on now for about 5 minutes straight. As you can see, guys, really not fussed about my face getting into it, and I was doing all that just because, like I say, you've seen my face now, so it doesn't really matter. I don't have to keep it a secret. Just really some touch-ups and things right now on the edging and stuff, just to again finalise those bits and cement them so that they were done. I realised that in the under crevasses of the Imperial Knight, I'd actually missed quite a bit with the wash. So now what I'm doing, I'm going over with the exhaust vents, the engine parts, just with some black primer and just using the actual off-spray effect to look like a charred kind of engine effect on there. What was next? I did this a couple of days ago, so it's a bit hard to remember chronologically what I did. What am I doing? I can't remember. It's all going by too fast and my memory isn't firing off correctly. Oh yeah, just doing some more washes over it. There's a lot of wash used in this, and I actually went through a tub and a half of Agrax on this miniature, having to buy so much Agrax Earthshade because it is a nice wash. It's basically like a diluted version of Devil and Mud, which is alright, but doesn't give you the same kind of dirty effect that Devil and Mud gives you. Oh, here's a little fun fact that I found out whilst researching Adeptus Mechanicus. The red robes that they actually have aren't actually a material like a cloth fabric. I found out that the Mechanicus red robes are actually vulcanized rubber. Now this is mainly because of the hazardous nature in which the Adeptus Mechanicus work in. So vulcanized rubber is resistant to corrosive materials, and it's also resistant to high degrees of heat, which was really cool. I thought that was quite interesting, so it made me look at the Adeptus Mechanicus robes in a completely different light. So now it's time to do some more of the detailing on the Imperial Knight's face and the pilot, which was kind of like coming out of the broken top of the Imperial Knight. I have actually got... the video ends a bit abruptly soon, mainly because I was in the way most of the time when I was doing the details, because I have to get quite close up. I was doing this hobby for almost 15 years, has taken its toll on my eyesight. So I had to stop the video and just do the finer details. However, there will be a third video where we look at some of those finer details in a bit more detail. I've said detail quite a lot of times, now I do realise. The undercowl from the Imperial Knight, I decided to leave that metal. I was going to do it like a bronze colour, but I thought it just wouldn't look out of place and just wouldn't look quite right. A bit more drink. By the way, guys, the backing tracks to this video, in case you're wondering, are actually an artist called Pronobozo, who allows you to use his stuff for free on YouTube without having to get any copyright infringement lawsuits handed at you. So I might include a link in the doobly-doo on that as to you know, where to download those from. You can download all of his albums for free. He has 3 albums out now. They're really, really cool. It's such cool music. The Mechanites. Once I had painted them all silver again, I decided to go in there and just do my standard engine oil effect over there, just because I really like oily Mechanites, because obviously there's so many moving parts, I imagine, in a Mechandrite that it would need to be oiled up quite a lot, otherwise it would just seize up completely. Oh, bit of a knuckle crack right there. Oh, look at the waveform on that. Well, you can't see that, but I can. So yeah, guys, been a really fun project. I've got to say, thank you for watching so far. I really do enjoy these Let's Builds at the expense of my own back and my posture. It really does fuck myself up. Oh, here you go, guys. You got to see the glowy effect, I think, on the night. Oh, maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe no. No, it ends. Ha! Right, okay, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, favourite, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the End of Time Facebook group. The link is always included in the doobly-doo down below, where you'll get sneak peeks of stuff that I am about. Well, I'm doing currently, which I just post up there. So, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys again. See you now, and goodbye. Don't forget to wait for part 3 either. Bye.